so pleased to have George Whelen, President and CEO of Whelen Engineering. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Now, we describe your company as the only U.S. maker of emergency warning equipment made in the USA. Everything made in the USA.
As much as we possibly can, yeah.
So every light and siren, most things that we see on DOT cars, of firefighting equipment, police cars, airplanes, mass warning signals, is Whelen.
Yes, yeah.
It starts out in 1952 with your grandfather, George Washington Whelen. And what does he do in a garage in Deep River?
He invented the first rotating beacon for aircraft. He was a pilot himself, a professional pilot, just, for fun, and he developed a beacon that would allow people to have better visibility at night. And that grew into warning lights for police cars, fire trucks, ambulances, DOT trucks.
And you're in your third generation now,
yes.
right?
Yes, yeah, I'm the third generation. Yeah.
And you've been president and CEO for 10 months, you said?
Yes, yeah.
So your dad, Sonny, is instrumental in this company, passed down from his dad. You employ 1,500 people?
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe 60 engineers or so?
70 engineers, yeah.
70 engineers. You just keep growing.
Yes.
And things are made in Connecticut and New Hampshire.
Correct, yeah.
How are you able to be competitive by making everything in the United States and not overseas?
I think one of the things that's allowed us to be competitive domestically versus outsourcing to Asia or wherever the labor is cheap is that we've automated a tremendous amount of our manufacturing. So we've taken on different processes that we didn't do before. We always kind of source them domestically, but they were expensive and they were older technologies. So, like one instance is our metallized reflectors to give reflectivity to our lights. We put those in all of our products pretty much, and we used to have a vendor who would dip them in a tank and then plate them, and it was an expensive and dirty process. It was environmentally kind of unsafe, and the technology became available for us to do that in a vacuum chamber. With absolutely no emissions, no negative kind of byproducts at all, and it's a very thin layer of deposited aluminum. So just examples like that, like certain things have kind of become available to us as manufacturing technology continues to grow. A lot of it coming from Europe or Asia. The integration of computers and robots into the manufacturing process has allowed us to remain competitive.
When I drive around the state of Connecticut, where do I see Whelen lights? Give me some examples.
In Connecticut, pretty much everywhere. Other parts of the world, not as much necessarily, but here we have police cars, fire trucks, ambulances, DOT vehicles, snow plows, just wreckers, all sorts of things.
This led to racing. How did you Whelen get into racing?
We got into racing maybe 25 years ago. We had an opportunity to get involved with NASCAR and to do some signage at their tracks in exchange for lights for their warning vehicles and for the pit cars and things like that. So that kind of was a natural fit for us. We actually have developed some kind of custom applications for NASCAR and made their tracks a little bit safer. Instead of the waving flags, now we have lights with different colors to represent different conditions on the track. Daytona, for instance, all around the outer wall is Whelen lights. Maybe every quarter mile or so.
Wow.
So just safety. That's what we do.
And funny you should mention Daytona. Let's roll the video. Go into this business, into the family business.
No, actually, I didn't spend a whole lot of time in the family business growing up. My dad always kind of kept us a little bit at arm's length. He wanted us to have kind of a normal childhood, kind of encouraged us to explore our own interests, but just oddly enough, my brother and I both ended up in the family business. And for me, it started when I was in high school, and I just started dating my wife, and I just wanted to earn a little money, went into the family business, and just kind of got hooked on the culture there. The people were just so welcoming, and the work that they were doing, the pride, just the overall energy there was something that was contagious to me, and I just kind of felt I guess just that I always wanted to be a part of it after that.
So you're the business end of it. Your brother's engineering.
Yes. Yeah.
What do you look for in an engineer that works at Whelen?
It's a number of different things. I mean, we have all sorts of different people in engineering. We have test engineers, we have electrical engineers, mechanical. We're even getting into automation now, which is kind of like a mixture of software, all sorts of different things. Optical engineers, but generally, I mean, just creativity, I think, is a big piece of what they do at every level in engineering.
You mentioned the atmosphere at the company. Now that's, I think, attests to your grandfather, to your dad. You just did a picnic for everybody that had about 1,000 people there. We feel, and I know about your company, that there's a big give back piece. Was that your grandfather? Was that your dad? And is that now you?
Yes, absolutely. Allowing the employees to have a stake in the business is something that I think has made us who we are today. Without the people that I work with on a daily basis, we wouldn't have anything at all. We're just fortunate. I mean, we're so fortunate to have such an incredible group of people at every level of the organization, just taking pride in their work. I mean, one of the things that for us is the greatest sales tool is taking people to Connecticut and New Hampshire and just giving them a tour, seeing all the people and meeting them and seeing the pride that they take in their work, and how seriously we've invested in our own industry is something that is really unparalleled for us in any of our competitors.
Do you expect that you're going to grow beyond 1,500? Can you see yourselves elsewhere as you get into the perhaps European market deeper?
Yes, absolutely. One of the biggest growth opportunities for us is Europe right now, and having a facility over there to generate domestic content, possibly Germany or Poland or whatever, is kind of essential to be a part of that market. Even South America too. I mean, some of the import taxes and things like that are incredible, and to not have any domestic manufactured content down there kind of puts you outside of the market. So eventually we do have to expand beyond just Connecticut and New Hampshire.
Did you know your grandfather?
No, I never met him.
Does your dad say that he embodies some of the personalities of his father? Do you think? Was he like his dad?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
He had a lot to live up to, with the name of George Washington Whelen, named after the President of the United States.
Yep.
Where do you see yourself? You're 10 months in as President and CEO. Where do you see yourself taking this company?
I think international is our biggest growth opportunity. Domestically, our market share is pretty strong. To expand here, really, we need to get into the areas that we haven't really ever gotten into before, which is like the amber market.
What do you mean by that?
Consumer products, so things that aren't involved in a public bid process, things that aren't sold through the government, things like, just a beacon or a floodlight for, a tow truck driver or...
Again, with safety in mind.
Correct, yep, yeah. So that's a big market that we just have never really been a part of. And I think the ability to automate our assemblies and to just design a more efficient product is our only way to get into that kind of price point.
On how many vehicles do you have Whelen warning lights and sirens? Do you know?
We don't really know, but we estimate probably 85% market share domestically in fire, EMS, and DOT.
So is that millions, maybe? I mean, 60,000, you said 60,000 police cars are made a year, is that correct?
Something like that, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, probably over the years, I'm sure it would hit those numbers, but generally we've kind of established our place in the market by providing people with things that they specify, they need. We listen to our customers, we do custom products just for, this police entity or this fire truck company or this ambulance manufacturer. We do custom work for everyone. We listen.
Which is important to a company as they head down the road. What about military? What types of military stuff do you do?
We don't do a tremendous amount in military. We do have some work with Oshkosh Defense and things like that. Just generally beacons for law enforcement vehicles that go around various military installations, floodlights, things like that.
And you also have mass warning things that you have as well. Tell me about that.
That was kind of different type of business. It wasn't automotive related. It was to warn people who are miles away. Chemical plants, nuclear power plants, things like that. We would set up these large outdoor warning sirens to give people like a voice recognition of what was going on in the area.
So tornado warnings out in the Midwest?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And are you lights and sirens? Are you the sirens as well?
Yes. Yeah, and the sirens are really, they run speakers, of course, but they're really also synonymous with control systems. We control our lights. Integrating the lights into the vehicle now is more important than ever. There's so many different lights going on, so much happening to control the lights and automate their process. The car door opens, something happens, you put the car in park, something else happens. Listening to the CAN bus on the vehicle is something that our sirens are able to do that allows us to just better integrate the light into the officer's car.
It's interesting. Have you ever been driving around and seen a light and take yourself out of the workplace for a second and go, that's a Whelen light?
Yeah, a lot. I'm always looking, I can't help it, like where's a competitor, where are we? Just can't help but notice that. Yeah.
So innovate is the future.
Yes, absolutely.
George Whelen, thank you so much and coming on and telling us about Whelen Engineering.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
We'll look for you to see what you're doing in 5 years.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. I promised I would be back in touch when I had more information to share, and today I have an update. It is with sadness that I tell you that Whelen has determined we must eliminate about 250 jobs from our workforce. This was a difficult but unavoidable decision. External factors like COVID-19 and a changing business climate have forced us to re-examine how we operate. The pandemic has greatly impacted the global economy, including Whelen suppliers, customers, and ultimately our business. As a direct result, we have seen a significant reduction in product demand. We are also faced with increased competition and rising business costs like never before. We tried everything we could to avoid eliminating jobs. This includes the furlough, canceling most of our co-works assignments, rescheduling 4th and 5th shift employees, eliminating cost of living increases, and making upcoming benefits changes. Unfortunately, these actions just weren't enough to keep Whelen positioned for success. I've given a lot of thought on how to handle this process in the most respectful and caring way possible, considering COVID-19 as well as the many emotions everyone will be feeling. Here's what I've decided. After this message, you are asked to go home for the day with full pay. Whelen will be closed tomorrow, July 10th. You will receive a letter at your home tomorrow that will let you know whether or not your job is being eliminated. You should receive this letter by midday. Everyone will be paid for tomorrow as well. I chose this method for several reasons. First, it allows for social distancing during the notification process. Your health and safety will always be our top priority. Second, it allows everyone to be in the comfort and privacy of their own homes during this difficult day. And third, we will be able to notify people very quickly rather than drawing out the process. I believe this is the best approach for everyone involved. In preparation for the next few days, everyone's badge and network access will be disabled following this video. Access will be turned off for all employees regardless of whether or not your position is affected. It will be restored for the remaining employees before their return. I want you to know that those who are leaving will be treated fairly and compassionately. They will receive severance pay and will be provided with tools to help them transition to their next jobs. We will also be offering one-on-one conversations to ensure all questions get answered and everyone understands the resources available to them. The next few days will be difficult, but Whelen is a strong community. Please come together to support each other as you always have. To those who are leaving, thank you for your service. Each of you has brought your skills, talent, and passion to Whelen, and my family and I are grateful for what we have achieved together.